Hello and welcome to This Old Town. I'm your host Lisa Tucker, and today we will be visiting the town of Congress. Few people know where Congress is located, and even fewer people know the importance that Congress played in the development of the Arizona Territory. Congress is located on Highway 89 between Wickenburg and Prescott. In 1972, Congress was listed as a ghost town on the state map of Arizona, but Congress was one mining town that wouldn't die. On March 25, 1884, Dennis May founded the Congress Mine, and this is where we are right now, at the location of the Congress Mine. Diamond Jim Reynolds purchased the mine from Dennis May for $60,000. He built a 20-stamp mill, and at the time of his death in 1891, he had taken out $600,000 in gold from the mine. Congress Mine is located at the foothills of the Date Creek Mountains. Camp Date Creek was established by the Date Creek Mountains, and it was put up to protect the roads, the farmers, the homesteaders from Indian attacks. Soldiers from Camp Date Creek was finding plenty of gold here as early as 1868. Today, the Congress Mine is still operational. There are a lot of old buildings that are still standing, and we're going to go take a look and see some of the old buildings and take a look at the town of Congress. So come along with me. We're standing here in front of the old Pioneer Cemetery. The town of Congress actually has two cemeteries, but this is the old Pioneer one. And as we took a walk around, we noticed that a lot of the grave sites were very small. And then it occurred to me that many of the town's children were wiped out during the scarlet fever epidemic of 1898. To me, this grave enclosure reminds me of a crib. A lot of these grave sites don't even have any headstones or markers at all. This is the more modern cemetery here in the town of Congress. In here there are also some smaller graves that probably belong to children. There are some older graves as well as newer ones, but we're not going to spend a lot of time at this cemetery. Congress was originally two towns, Milltown and Lowertown. Milltown housed the mill, the employees of the mill, the owners of the mill and a couple of boarding houses. Lower Town housed other families. It had mercantiles, it had schoolhouses, it had churches. The townspeople had really no water in the town, and there was just a spigot at the mine store. So what the townspeople would do, they would take these 50-gallon whiskey barrels and roll them up the hill, fill them up, and then the barrels would come down the hill on their own volition with the weight of the water inside the barrels. Due to the scarcity of the water, in 1898, a fire destroyed the town, and the town rebuilt, and then again in 1900 there was another fire which destroyed the buildings again. And before there was a Congress, there was a Martinez. In 1862, a man by the name of Martinez came to this area, and he had a mercantile store that was called Martinez Mercantile. He had a lot of varied businesses and interests in this area. Right now, the area that is now known as Congress used to be called Martinez Flats, Martinez Wash, and there is even a Martinez Creek. Charles Stanton, jealous of Martinez, destroyed Martinez's ranch land with a fire, and Mr. Martinez moved to Tucson, where he was a cattle rancher. This area was even the proposed site of Disneyland in 1962. This area even had a vast Chinese population. The Chinese had built underground tunnels throughout this area that stretched for miles and miles. On March 16, 1891, Governor John Irwin signed a liberal tax bill for the construction of a railroad. 60 days later, the Santa Fe Railroad from Phoenix to Prescott started construction. On March 14, 1895, track was laid past Congress and Wickenburg and on into Phoenix and was completed in 1895. It took 4 years to complete, and now the line was open. In May 1891, then President William McKinley was scheduled to take a tour of Phoenix. And at the urging of some very influential Congress citizens, they urged him to come up here. So he was on the railroad and made a stop here in Congress Junction, and he then took a tour of the Congress mine. It's hard to imagine that in the early 1860s, all this was nothing. And then we had the People's Party joined with famed mountain man Pauline Weaver and Henry Wickenburg, who came to this area. This is where, over here at the Vulture Peak, that Henry Wickenburg named the Vulture Peak and then started the Vulture Mine. And the rest of the People's Party moved on and discovered Rich Hill, which is over there. Right outside of Congress on Highway 89 on the way to Prescott is Rocky the Frog, and we're going to go over there and see that. We're standing here in front of the old mercantile, which was established in 1886. It was originally put up for the railroad workers, and in 1895 it became the old trading post. Right now it serves kind of like a thrift shop type of thing, and the proprietor of this place has a museum downstairs in there. Over here there used to be a Quonset hut, and that was also for the railroad workers, and then down back over here somewhere they had 3 houses erected, and that was for people coming up from Phoenix to visit with the railroad workers or anybody else who was stopping by. Along this same road is a flea market, and this is open during the winter. It's open 7 days a week, and you can come here and just look at the regular items that a normal flea market would have. This is the site of the old Congress Hotel, built in 1895. It is now just an old store. It looks like a taxidermy store to me. And this is the creek that was named after Martinez. He did a lot of panning here. The creek is dry now. Nobody knows how much gold he actually got out of here. And then if you look a little further down, there's Rocky the Frog. We're right outside of Congress right now at the Weaver Mining District, where there's also a little cafe. The Weaver Mining District is here to satisfy their members and so that they can come out and do some gold mining on their claims. Let's take a walk inside and see what they have in here. Here's a picture of what the mine looked like back in 1900. And this is quartz rock, and here's the gold in there. And this was found by the Weaver Mining District on the claim that they have over by Decision Corner. And here we are at Rocky the Frog. In the 1920s, Sarah and Eli Perkins moved in this area with their two small boys. Eli was a very busy man. He was a newspaper man and a state legislator, so Sarah and the little boys would take walks every day to occupy their time, and they came upon this interesting rock formation that to them looked like it was in the shape of a frog. Eli brought them some green paint, and they came up and they painted this frog. And then to this day, this frog is always painted, and no one now knows who keeps coming here and painting the frog. Well, I do hope that you certainly enjoyed our tour of Congress. So until next week, when the little town we visit might be your town, I'm Lisa, and I'm out of here. Thank you.